Just put a label on it, even if it doesn't change the circumstance. Because there's so much about this moment that is trying to make people feel like they've lost their mind. When in fact, these motherfuckers are crazy.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra. And as you can see, we have our kids are back. The kids are back, everybody. Of course, I'm speaking of Next Gen NYC children, not children, young people. Let me stop being so crazy about these young people. So we know them from Bravo. They are either friends of people that are on Bravo or their own parents have been on Bravo, or some of them, like Ariana Bierman and Riley Barris, we have known from childhood because they were on a Bravo show, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Brooks Marks is from Salt Lake City, the Real Housewives Salt Lake City franchise. We see his sister Chloe a little bit too. So we're getting to know newer children as well. Brooke Shields' daughter Rowan. I don't know if I saw her. I can't remember if I recognized her first episode, but she is on the after show. And Riley Barris, come to work. You are not ruler. We didn't get any Riley episode 1 other than flashbacks, everybody. That was kind of shocking to me. And then they did film an after show, so that's interesting. They'll have an after show this season. Riley was there as well. So Riley, we're gonna need you to make an appearance. You got to show up. You've got to show up. Episode 1, I'll rate it at the end, but it was just okay. It keeps us up with everybody. Welcome in, dear Yvette. Great to see you. Thank you so much for joining me during this season 2 live review for Next Gen NYC. The kids are back, but they're having something. It's called Serving Country, and that's going to be on Emira's birthday party. That's a theme. She's doing a little bit something different with the theme. She's trying to be edgy. I don't know, Emira. I was kind of indifferent about Emira season 1. Emira, are you going to get on my nerves season 2? I don't know. So the gang is all back, and then we've added a couple of newbies, which is Brooke Shields' daughter Rowan. I don't know what I think about her yet. I'm going to reserve judgment on Rowan because I don't know what, if anything, she's going to give or she has going on yet. And then a new guy called Liam. Liam's cute. Liam keeps a lot going on. David's already waiting. Yes, not feeling Gia. Gia is Gia. Again, thank you for bringing her up because she's one of the ones that most people would know if you are tuned into Bravo at all, because she's, of course, Teresa Giudice and Juicy Joe's daughter. She's basically raised that family because we know that the parents spent some time away in jail, and Gia was counted on to just be grown up. She's always weighed in on grown folks' business. And Gia has the Bravo verse. Either they don't like her at all, or nobody's indifferent about Gia. I kind of like Gia. Gia's a trip. She makes me laugh. She keeps something going. And I think she took a lot of the feedback to heart last year. There were people that were really not liking Gia at all. I don't have a problem with Gia. I think she's cute. She's funny. And she can be over the top when she needs to be over the top. I think she's good TV. So I'll give Gia a little bit of patience. But they start out, Emira, are they going to try to make Emira happen? I don't know. I think Emira is beautiful to look at. She can be kind of witty, but Emira comes across as, to me, she's very aware of the cameras and sometimes she tries too hard. So they start out with her. She's doing this Gossip Girls type thing to give us history of what happened with them during the summer. So we find out, of course, the big story was that Ariana and Hudson have broken up. And we get these little vignettes. So we got Brooks and Chloe in the kitchen. I think they're baking bread. And what I find funny is that they're going to try to make Chloe happen. Brooks is boring enough. Adding his sister Chloe is just, I can deal with Brooks because he's a sweetheart. But Brooks, didn't you have a boyfriend last season? I guess Chloe can be here if they really live in New York. I don't know. Riley is on the Asia leg of her Riley World Tour. She called Ariana and I think it was Emira at like 3 a.m. from South Korea. So Riley is living her best life, and we love to see it. We know she had just graduated from college. I think she promised Candy that she'll go on to some more new things. So I'm proud of Riley and what she's doing, even though I didn't see enough of Riley this episode. Amira, again, is the one that is kind of narrating the whole thing at the beginning, and she did a good job. But I don't know. I don't want to see too much Amira. David says, okay, and then she's laughing. Brooks is just not interesting. They're trying to make him happen, David. You know how Bravo will get kind of a little soft spot for certain people, and they're going to push them on us if they don't do anything else. So Brooks is in that boat. Brooks and Chloe. And now we got Emira up here narrating. But Riley, you got to come to work. You were the breakout star last season, you and Ariana. So we get Ava, and we see her saying that Ariana wasn't really giving fashion. And Ariana in her confessional, she's really funny. She's self-deprecating. She's in a red dress. She says, well, I was mad, but maybe she was right. So Ariana and the fashion line's not really coming across like she thought it would. Ariana, is it because you and Hudson broke up and now the money is not there? Welcome in, American born, American born. Don't stay away from me. American born. Come in and take your seat. Thank you. Good afternoon, Sandra Pease, Gen Extra. She agrees with dear Yvette. That Brooks is not interesting. I'll try to give him a little bit of a chance because dealing with Seth and Meredith as parents, I think he's just one of those people that will just fade into the background because there's some big personalities over there. Now, I'm hoping we don't see as much of Meredith and Seth as we saw last season. We get a little bit of Teresa this episode, which is not too much. We had the right mix of Kim, also Candy Barris, and Teresa. The only ones that overdid it in my eyes last season were Seth, who had inappropriate conversations with Charlie. I didn't like it. And also too much Meredith. Too much Meredith. Yeah, and Gia knows that, and she clings to Ariana. David, I think so too. Ariana was a breakout star, her and Riley. So now we see Gia and Ariana, two peas in a pod. Honestly, David, you're right. I didn't see that before, but Gia's savvy. She's been on TV since Gia was a baby. She was what, 4 or 5 or 6 when she was that little girl singing her little song. When I wake up in the morning, thinking of stupid thing. Teresa, I guess, is going to try to make her a little pop star. Yeah, I still like him, but he needs to bring it. Yeah, American boy, Brooks, step it up, Brooks. You got to do something. I hope Hudson doesn't invest money with that fraud Charlie. We're going to see George Washington, otherwise known as Georgia, say that he latched onto her boyfriend because she was dating a boyfriend he was an investor, Omar. So we'll see. I hope that Hudson's smarter than that. But I think Hudson probably has gotten that warning from his parents and anybody whom he would listen to his whole life. Look, be wary of people. You Zaxby's grandson, so be wary. David is laughing. Probably at the little Gia song. Charlie definitely needs new people to pay for his food, drinks, and other things. AB, he is a grifter. He's over the age of 30. His brain is fully formed. And that grifting personality is something a lot of people don't grow out of. I can't stand Charlie. I was hoping he wouldn't come back. I know you said that about him, AB, but Charlie's good TV. I don't like Charlie either. And I don't like the way he talks to people and deals with people. But Charlie does show up and live to fight another day. Because he gets into it with people and he still shows up. So I do like that. AB said he didn't have to come back. So Lil' Kim, otherwise known as Ariana, she's so funny and cute to me. I love Lil' Kim. So she is tacky. She's in this red dress. And she said, this doesn't look too bad, does it? She doesn't really care. And I love that about her. I don't think she's trying too hard. She's just being herself. And I think that's good. So Hudson gets a confessional by himself. He's saying it's Ariana's idea to break up. So I don't blame Ariana. It sounds like Hudson got to New York and started tripping a little bit, maybe partying and just clinging to her and that sort of thing. And then also she says later, she had a DUI that came up. It was years ago. It came up now, so she's on probation. And he didn't really support her like she wanted him to. She had the nerve to say, because my dad, he says all a man has is his word. Now, we know Croy was over there in that house terrorizing Kim when the judge had them living together. The cops would be there. Troy would be armed. But Ariana has good memories of Croy. Okay, Ariana. He did adopt them and give his name, so that's okay. Then he can be the villain. Yeah, AB, he's not a bad villain. He does show up. You can't be like, I don't know who a villain. Who is it? Shamia's not really a villain. She's getting into it with a lot of different people. I'm speaking of Real Housewives of Atlanta now, of course. But she also is desperate to be liked. and then she wants to put her lower lip out and go, everybody's being mean. But you doing all this stuff behind the scenes. So you kind of got to own it if you want to be a villain. And I think Charlie will get a kick out of that. He's even trying to latch himself onto Hudson. Poor little Shy is just out there. And then I think he does want Hudson to start spending money on him, talking about, yeah, I can influence him. I don't think so, Charlie. But he's still saying, well, he wouldn't rule out having something with Ariana. She don't like him. She thinks he's a creep. So that's not going to happen. AB says, now that we know what happened with Georgia, I can see her teeth are messed up from all the purging. Poor girl. AB, I didn't notice that. I got to look at her closer. And I don't think I ever body shamed her. I teased her about her cleanliness. Because, Georgia, you were not washing your hands, George Washington. You went all the way back to the 1800s for your hygiene. Remember, she came out the bathroom, tried to hug Riley, and Riley was like, no. And then touched the bottom of somebody's shoe. Corey was good to those girls. Yeah, AB, he treated them as his own. And then Kim had a bunch more children. One moment. Let me see. Why don't I have... Let me go down and go back up. Okay, I went down and back up. Let me know if you can hear me. Because I don't know why I wouldn't have sound. Oh, okay, thank you. David, go back out and come back in. Because I went down and came back up. No, we didn't body shame her. We just didn't like her nasty way. Yeah, B, we did. Even with Amanda, I'm careful how I handle her. I call her old long back, long face. Because Amanda, I don't like how she's handling herself in the city. But yeah, I don't try to body shame or anything like that. But I'm sorry that Georgia went through that. But production put up a lot of stuff. There were all of these, you know how they get online and just say any old thing. She said they were really weighing in, but it sent her to inpatient. She said she thought that might have been a little bit too much, but that it was the best thing that she could have done. So I love that for Georgia. Because I don't feel badly toward George Washington either. I'm going to get on her about her cleanliness. Because don't be touching the bottom of shoes or not washing your hands when you come out the bathroom. I like the new guy, Liam. Liam's going to be a problem. He is cute. I think they said he was from Nickelodeon and then had some other kind of just little bit roles. He likes being on TV and he's flirting with Ariana. So that is something that Hudson is not going to put up with. So I like this new mix of people. Brooke Shields' daughter, American Born, I watched a little bit of the after show and I don't know what she's going to bring. I don't know if she is suited for this group of kids. I mean, Brooke Shields is a star, has always been, but I don't know about poor Rowan. And I don't know whose idea this was. I hope this format doesn't do damage to her. I'll just say that and leave it at that once we see more of her. So Ariana's telling us about this breakup. It's hard to walk away. Production's playing into it. They show all these pictures of them breaking up. And we always like Hudson, Zaxby's grandkid. We always like Hudson and Ariana together. And I always like how normal he was. Showing where he's from, but he's really normal. He's a Virginia kid. And they've known each other since they were like 14, but I think they say they dated at like 18, 19. Ariana says she's making money from influencing, which we knew. She helps give Kim money if Kim needs anything, but we see her doing some of her gigs. She said it's not really a 9-to-5. She tells her followers different things, and she didn't want people asking her about it too much, so they issued a joint statement. The joint statement has Georgia and also Ava up in arms. Ava, you're a little bit jealous of Ariana and the fact that people like her. I don't dislike Ava Dash, but I think she can be a mean girl, and she's kind of a dud, y'all. She's boring to me. So I'll do scenes, but I like going in and out of the comments just so I don't miss anything. So I prefer to do it that way. Good, let Ariana Fell want it good for her. I'm not sure. We'll have to reword that, AB. Did you see his mom was just arrested for DV on her boyfriend? Whose mom? Liam's or Hudson's? Notice Ariana took both her dogs. Thank you, American Born. And Ariana's only 23 years old, and she got more sense than old 35-year-old Amanda. Ava got on my nerves last season and this season. And I like all the kids. I like the ensemble, but Ava Dash is giving nothing. And then we hear that her mom, Rachel Roy, is a fashion girl. She has a fashion line. And I've always known of her for that. But she's also known as Becky with the good hair. So the character may not be there. Dame Dash, I don't love, but Dame has always been who he is. we're going to see her try to throw her eviction off on him. Ava, pay your bills. Feel wanted by Liam and Hudson and Charlie. Oh, Ariana, yeah, she does. And Hudson will take her back anytime. I think they're back together already. Hudson's mom, I could see her putting hands and feet on somebody. I think they come from money. And some of those people actually don't know how to not take no for an answer, but not have things go their way. I'll say that. Then if there were any alcohol involved, that makes it worse. David, I like Ava. I think she's a good fit for the show, but she's kind of a dud to me. She's not giving a lot yet. And I think she got on here on the strength of Damon's personality. So I wonder how much we'll see of him. Now, it's funny because he made a lot of appearances last year. He brought a slutty vegan franchise. Now, knowing what we know of Miss Pinky, I wonder if that was really true or if it was just storyline. Because I haven't heard anything about the slutty vegan franchise in New York. I know they were going to open it, but it didn't. Oh, you can have her. AB giving Ava to dear Yvette. Yeah, you protect Ava. I won't drag her too bad, but when she is full of that bull, I'll have to call Ava out, and I will later because she's doing a lot. Ava and Georgia are going to be a team. So they are funny. I like how they do the joint confessionals. They're making fun of this statement, like, who even asked? Who even cares? And then they flash back to Ariana. She shared when she was moving. She had a whole moving company. She moved to Brooklyn. As AB pointed out, she took both her dog. Y'all, but the dog kind of pooted in the driver's car. And she was like, okay, who farted? It really stinks. And I'm like, I don't know if I were driving Uber or Lyft, if I would want a pet in my car. You have to get a pet-friendly driving service because they don't have to let you in there if you order one just regular and then you show up with 2 dogs. Baby, don't do me like that. David, you say you like this, so just make sure if we get on her too bad, you got to jump in and say something nice about Ava. So that's how we do it. We think differently. Everybody has their favorites or not, but you got to protect Ava. So you adopted her. Okay, I'm sorry. No, AV, we give Ava dash to dear Yvette. So you got to keep an eye on her, dear Yvette. Make sure we don't do her too bad. Cece, thank you for coming in. Thank you so much for joining during the live. We're just having a little fun with the Next Gen NYC kids. Ariana has moved away from Hudson, the apartment they went into together last season. And we have decided that dear Yvette is going to put her cloak of immunity over Ava Dash so we don't treat her too bad. Because American Born and I are still not impressed with Ava. She's still kind of a dud. But one episode in, I'll try to be a little more gentle with her. But thank you for joining CC, one of the moderators. She came in and spoke to everybody. AB says, my dogs would run you out with their farts. Ooh, American Born. Maybe it's their diet. You know, they got the fresh pet food now. They have it in the refrigerated section. I saw it in the grocery store today. Derek Fred said, I like her because Gia don't like her. And Ava plucks her nerves. Yeah, Ava does get on Gia's nerves. She get under Gia's skin. One thing I do like about Ava got that slick little mouth. But because she's talking in deadpan, if you try to get all crazy, you look crazy. And Ava does that at the end with Gia. To me, I can see her trying to provoke Gia. Ava's got like a Drew spirit where like, I'm kind of poking you, but I'm doing it at a level where if you go crazy, then you look crazy and people are going to be on my side. But I see what Ava's doing. Oh, I see now. But I like Gia. Yeah, I like Gia too. I give Gia a little bit of grace because Gia has to be big and bad because of what Juicy Joe and Teresa have put the whole family through with their whole tax thing. Even though Teresa's not the brightest bulb, I'm shocked she got locked up. I don't know that she knew what was going on about it. So the big storyline, of course, is Hudson and Ariana. But because they told everybody, everybody's weighing in on it. And that's what Ava and Georgia are saying in joint confessional. Well, I mean, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. You told everybody, and now we're talking about it. So I found that kind of like, okay, let's not make this a storyline that drags on. So we see Georgia. She has a big scene. She looks good. She's all in black, got her stomach out. Of course, she is very thin. I didn't know that there might have been some type eating disorder or anorexia. Did she say anorexia? Or maybe someone said that. But a lot of the little blurbs they put up, people were body shaming and they were being kind of terrible about it. But she did go to inpatient. I think she's just a tall, thin girl, always on the move. And she seems like a person that maybe she's a snacker. I don't see Georgia sitting down eating a full meal. And then we find out from Charlie that she might be kind of like a grifter as well. So I don't know, Georgia, what income do you have coming in aside from this show? So Ava saying that she's in the news, but the bank, Damon filed for bankruptcy. Production put that up. But then she said, it's also that I got evicted. Everybody gets a notice. I didn't get evicted. I got a notice. So, David, you see how she tries to parse her words. You got evicted, girl. Just own it. She says, well, my share of the rent I had, my dad's share of the rent, he may not have. Now, Ava, you're lying. We know Damon had his problems, but I don't buy the fact that he told her he paid her rent and then just didn't pay it. I don't know. And why did you get the money from Rachel Roy? Does she still have the clothing line? I don't know. I'm not sure. So she was saying she was not evicted. Eva, you're lying. The landlord wanted you gone, and I think there was paperwork. You have to file court paperwork. You can't just evict somebody, especially in New York. So I don't know, Ava. We'll see. Rachel Roy, are you still dressing Ava? She told us that last season. Her mom dresses her. So tell her to call Jay-Z. That's Becky with the good hair. Ava threw her dad completely under the bus. She sure did. And Damon's so loud and crazy, I doubt he'll care. But I found that funny. Y'all, I knew I liked her. Ava's birthday is December 7th, and mine is 12/8. Oh, yeah, both of y'all are Sagittariuses. You have my mom's birthday, dear Yvette. So Ava had Pearl Harbor is 12/7. My mom's birthday is 12/8. So Sagittarius, y'all are a different breed. I like Sagittarius, of course, because my late mom was one. But I know that they can, like, I won't say throw the rock and hide their hand, but they can provoke. But if you're watching that from a distance, you won't know who's at fault. It's Ava. It's Ava. So, dear Yvette, I can see why you like her. Okay, I can roll with that then. And American Born is laughing. Yeah, Ava Dash is a trip. Sat up there and talking about, evicted. I didn't get evicted. But I did get a notification. And the notification, Miss Dash, was for you to get up out them people's apartment because you were not paying. So she's a trip. Emira is still doing the narration of what everybody's going through. And she's saying, Charlie showed up at a torture house. Y'all, one of the extras last year, when I found that picture, we talked about that. So yes, Charlie did. David is laughing at the truth about Sagittariuses. I'm a Sagittarius. Kiwan J, 12/2. Okay, that's why I like you too. But Kiwan J can be slick at the mouth too. Okay. So you, dear Yvette, and Ava Dash will get along. American Born and I have given Ava Dash to dear Yvette to watch over because I'm not getting a lot from the girl, but she does know how to poke when appropriate, and I find that kind of funny. So Charlie's going through his torture chamber thing. He was just outside the building, in fairness. He don't really seem to care. That's another reason why Charlie's a good villain, because he knows that all this talk is going on. Charlie don't really care. We see all these different creators. Production has put up, one of them Up and Adam. I used to watch him, but he started getting on my nerves too much. He's a trip. So he was telling them, breathlessly telling everything that happened with Charlie. So I don't know, Charlie. How did you know that guy that had kidnapped the tourist? It was called Crypto Bro Torture House or something like that. It was crazy. So the other thing, when they do the confessionals this year, I like that a lot of them are joint. Hudson has a few on his own, but I like that the kids are actually talking about different things that they found out from last year's confessional. So I thought it was funny that we see the flashback of Charlie saying, I might try to F her, talking to Ava about Ariana. And Ariana didn't like that. She's like, that was kind of creepy. And then Ava said as well, he was making all these comments about my body and my dad watched it. I didn't like that. So I found that kind of funny that these kids live on social media, and then also they rewatched the show because they didn't know how the editing was going to do, and they're bringing all that up. So I thought that was good. And then Brooks's joint confessional, I forgot who Brooks was in there with, but they've kind of changed the people that are in there. Like now, Gia and Ariana are close, as dear Yvette and AB pointed out. Ariana was kind of a fan favorite, her and Riley. So Gia, of course, has latched on to her because a lot of people don't like Gia. The Bravo verse, they give Gia heck. And I look at her as a kid. She's really young. I think she's around 23 or so, too. She's down there with Ava. Ariana just turned 23. Riley turned 22 or 3. So they're all pretty young. David said, I got her. Yeah, so they'll go take care of Ava Dash. And I compare her to Drew Kiwanje from Real Housewives of Atlanta. Calm and confused, and meanwhile provoking the stuffing out of people. But you can't really prove it. But Dear Yvette said that's okay. She understands. So I like that they reintroduce all the kids to us. Y'all, I don't remember Rowan, who is Brooke Shields' daughter. She's a new one. I like the new kid, Liam. He plays hockey in all these different leagues. He is, I feel like he modeled, or they had pictures that look like they could be modeling. He's an actor. He said he's been in different shows. Of course, he's been in Law and Order. So I like Liam. I think he's going to fit in pretty good. He thinks Ariana is cute. Hudson's trying to warn everyone off Ariana, even though they are taking this break. And I call it a break because people didn't really believe the breakup and they might be back together. So the group's consensus is that the joint statement was a little bit corny, but Ariana's standing on the fact that people are going to ask me about it anyway. We see Georgia and Ava go to lunch. They're talking junk about the joint statement. But the two of y'all, why are you talking about the joint statement? Tell everybody else what was going on. And then Ava being shady, she said, I would never do that. But you kind of did that. And production helped Ava. They showed us the video last year when George Washington was making all those tic tacs about, I'm stranded over here. Omar got tired of her being a deadbeat and put her out wherever they were traveling. And so she was on the road trying to get money to come home. So Ava brought that up and she thought it was pretty funny. And Georgia was like, yeah, I did do that. So she's criticizing Ariana for doing what she did. Y'all live on social media. We understand. It's not that big a deal. So let me go get most of these comments and then we'll come back to the scene that these two were on. Kiwan is laughing about Ava Drew. I wonder what Drew's sign is. AB said, like you said before, poor Gia had to step in and help raise her sisters while her mom was in prison. That's true. And then Juicy Joe had the nerve to go ahead and get deported. Wasn't it a good episode? Was it a good episode? It's mid. It's mid. I didn't rate it yet, but it's going to be a 7 because we catch up with all the other kids that we already knew. And then Brooke Shields' daughter, Rowan, comes on. I don't know her or remember a lot about her. I just remember her from the after show, which I didn't finish watching. And a new kid, Liam, he's pretty good. Charlie's back as a villain. And then George Washington, I don't know if she's washing her hands or not, but she's still there. And she seemed to have a little bit of a glow up. Now, what is sad, Kiwan J, she experienced some body shaming. People were telling her she's anorexic and all this kind of stuff. So she went away for inpatient just to manage her eating. So she's looking healthy. She's looking good. She's just a really thin girl. I thought it was a good episode. AB, you did? Yeah, it was mid. It was okay. It got done what needed to be done. Ava just doesn't like Ariana. American Born, I think it's a little bit of jealousy. I do, because for her to say, oh, she's not known for fashion. Ava, you wouldn't be known for fashion if Becky with the good hair didn't have a fashion line. Because Ava says her mom picks out her clothes. So you're in your 20s. You should have your sense of style by now. My girl Drew is going. She's a tourist. Oh, okay. Yeah, Drew's tough. She's tough. But she seems like she's soft, and that kind of misleads people. They thought, oh, okay, I'm going to go at her. If they feel like they need a scene, that's not the one to go at. Kind of like Rosie on Rhode Island. She seems soft, and maybe you can punk her, but certain ones you don't go at. And that's okay. We all don't need to like they all don't need to like each other. Yeah, I agree with that, American Born. It keeps a little bit of tension going, keeps a lot of the storyline going, because they got some good little feuds going. And at one point, production was putting up like who's going against who. So we have Alliance, Ariana and Gia still like each other. Of course, Riley and Ariana. Riley come to work. Yeah, we didn't see Riley other than flashbacks all episode. And then you got Ava into it with she's talking junk about Ariana. I think it's jealousy. And then the guys have a little something going on. There's a new trio that everybody is talking a little bit of junk about, which is Hudson, Charlie, and Shy. And nobody know where that came from. So that's pretty funny. Dear Vet agrees. Yeah, it's good TV. We need Riley. Yeah, she better come to work, American Born. How do you miss the whole first episode? I know she was traveling. She's doing her Riley World Tour, but we need to see more of her. They showed a little, they put in a little bit of her traveling when she FaceTimed two of the girls. So Chloe and Brooks are in the kitchen. They're baking. They're talking about the joint statement. They didn't agree with it either. But at least we only got a few flashbacks of Meredith and Seth. And then one of them said, well, you think she had Chat GPT to help write it? And Ava and Georgia end up applauding. They wanted us to talk about it. We're talking about it. Congratulations. But y'all are really corny because you got your own scene. It's your first year back, season 2. You should be talking about what each other has going on instead of talking about Ariana and Hudson. So congratulations. Ariana's scenes are actually, she getting her own scenes, moving to Brooklyn, her 2 dogs. Hudson has his own confessional, and he wasn't even full cast last year. And the 2 of y'all who are full cast are talking about them. So that doesn't make sense. Did you notice Ariana's big sister popped up on this episode? Oh, was that Brielle? So Kim probably called Andy Cohen and said, Andy Cohen, are you going to get the other girl a check? I need some money. Is Brooks still giving nothing like Meredith? Keywan J, he sure enough is, but Brooks, I don't know. I kind of like Brooks because Brooks kind of gets along with everybody in the group. He was kind of, last year, we referred to him as kind of the glue that brought everybody together because they kind of protect Brooks, especially Gia. But Brooks this year, he's kind of mad at Charlie. And then Charlie doesn't really care. Charlie doesn't know that he has offended Brooks. But I think he knew last year that he offended Brooks when he tried to take Chloe out, talking about he'll F her. Charlie is terrible, always talking about he going to F somebody. Charlie, why don't you F a job application? Do that. We're getting tired of you, Charlie, already. But he does make me laugh. I do think he is a good villain. All he did was bake bread. Yeah, AP, and Chloe was in that scene. And Chloe, other than being pretty, Chloe doesn't give anything either. But I think Andy Cohen and Bravo don't want to deal with the wrath of Meredith if they fire them kids. They haven't done any fireable offenses. Just Brooks, you got to bring something. He had a fashion line, y'all, that was one tracksuit, and it made it to New York Fashion Week. So Brooks is going to fail up. AB says, here now, I'm a Libra. Oh, a Libra? My sister that is in here sometime, Church 612, is a Libra. Libras are cool until they're not. And at that point, they'll say anything. So my younger sister is a Libra. Church 612 is a Libra. October 6th Libra, actually. You know I'm going to wear Charlie out this season. Keywan JTV, he's ready. Charlie built to last. That's why I liked him, because he does keep showing up. And he knows he's wrong, but he keeps showing up. So Ariana's crossing the bridge. We built a life together. This is hard. I never thought I'd be moving to Brooklyn. Honestly, I kind of questioned how smart it was for these 2 kids to move in together. Hudson is a little broken up. The breakup's Ariana's idea. I don't blame her. We have Emira. Emira is a content creator as well, but she's more of an influencer. She's given the details of her life about brushing her teeth, this, that, and the other. Emira, we don't actually care enough for that. Now, this was big. We see her getting dressed up. She ended up walking in Victoria's Secret show. So congratulations to Emira for that. That was amazing. She did a FaceTime call with Brooks, inviting him to the party. Brooks wants to know who all going. Brooks, everybody is going. He's still mad at Charlie. And then they start talking about the breakup. So Brooks says, did you invite her before you knew they were broken up? And she said, I asked her whether or not she wanted Hudson to come. And she said, of course. He's not out of any group chats. They are on good terms. And she doesn't want her friends to freeze Hudson out. So that's what I like about Ariana, y'all. I think she gets along with everybody. I think she's the sweetest. Lil' Kim is the sweetest. I like her. David says, Kim put all her eggs in Brielle basket and it was always Ariana. David, sometimes that's how it works. I don't know why she thought Brielle was the one, other than that Brielle would do or say anything. Remember, she had Brielle going up against Nene, and then she said, who do my daughter have to F to get John Legend tickets? So her and Brielle, I don't know about that duo. Those 2 are a trip. But I'm going to go back and look for her on the episode because, honestly, I didn't pay attention. Was she at Amira's party? They didn't see that coming. No, it's always that. Usually the chosen ones are actually not chosen. Like Brooke and Chloe. Can we get somebody else's kids? Who else can we get? Well, they said Noelle is going to do a LA. They're doing the next gen LA. So I'm looking forward if we get to see Noelle Robinson. Nothing. I love you all day. Yvette said, Sneaky Links. Who is the Sneaky Link? AB heard that the Methodists went back to jail. Who is that? AB is dropping a lot of tea. She also told us that Hudson's mom had DV. All this is allegedly, in my opinion. I have not been down on Skid Row, otherwise known as Reddit. Everybody is laughing. No, in her apartment. Oh, she was. Okay, I'll have to look at it then. I'll have to rewatch that scene. Brielle was in Ariana's apartment when Gia showed up to get ready. Oh, I wonder why I didn't recognize her. Y'all, she's had work done. Brielle, you better let that work settle. I thought her and Kim went on a show where the doctor was supposed to kind of repair some things. Not that they need repair, they just need to not do as much as they do and let things settle. Oh my goodness. Wow, that's from Love After Lockup. We are talking about the person on Love. Oh, okay. Thank you, Kiwan JTV. I watched reviews, but I didn't really watch that show. Okay, thank you. AB, what and who? They answered your question, dear Yvette. They answered your question. Love After Lockup, those nuts over there. So there's the Victoria's Secret fashion show. Ava Dash, why didn't you walk in that? She likes to tell us she's a model. Ava's lazy though. Ava said, I'd like to do content creator, but being an influencer is this, that, and the other. Now, when they showed Emira's followers, she had over 300,000. When they showed Ava Dash, production highlighted it. It was like 18,000. Ava, you are not working hard enough. And then she says, well, with the personality that my dad has, you can't borrow your parents' personality. I don't know how many followers Damon Dash has, but him being Gen X and pushing 60, we're not out here like that trying to be on social media. So I don't know, Ava, you're going to have to do it for yourself. Riley probably has more followers than that. And Riley just be living her life and posting. So next, Brooks saying he's telling Emira, who invited him to the birthday. She let him know everybody's been invited, including Charlie. And Brooks is saying, he made a lot of problems with a lot of my friends. Production shows us when Riley was trying to talk to him and took Charlie's hand, and he said, please let go of my hand. That's when I started disliking Charlie. I only like the fact that as a villain, he does show up and he doesn't mind. But I really got annoyed with the microaggressions. That's something I can't stand that, Charlie. So we better not see that this season. So Charlie has made friends with Hudson. Shy is trying to ingratiate himself with the group. Ava's saying a bunch of mean girl stuff about Shy. Like they did a thing of like all these people in the different group chats. There's one big group chat. Ava says, well, Charlie left the group chat, but we didn't care. Because Charlie claims that he's not on social media or in group chats, but he seems to know everything that's going on. So Brooke is saying that he's not really looking forward to running into Charlie because they've got some things to talk about. And Ava says, I'm walking into a lion's den with Gia. She called me a liar on a podcast. And then we find out that Ava may or may not have been talking about Teresa Giudice, which is a big no-no. So we see a confessional with Ariana and Gia is basically saying, that's my mama. You don't talk about my mama. Or in Gia speak, she was saying that. So y'all, that was a trip. So everybody is either into it or out of it with everybody else except Charlie. He's on an island is the way that Georgia put it. They had a big blowout last year. She said Charlie's basically on an island by himself. But, I mean, he's going to show up by himself. We see him walking up by himself in his first appearance. He says it's basically nighttime to me. Production puts on, it is nighttime. But he's wearing shades, so he's wearing his sunglasses at night. And let me see if there's any comments with this, and we'll catch up with the rest of the kids. So basically, it's a bunch of scenes of them going about their day, letting us know everything that is happening with them, and pretty much catching us up, which I like. I thought she would be all that. Ava thought she would be all that from her parents. Yeah, AB, she seems to think that because of the reputation of Damon Dash and Rachel Roy, that she's going to just kind of live off that. That's not enough, Ava. Your reputation preceded you, well, theirs, got you on the show. Now you got to work. Thanks, CC. 4 likes and 4 in the chat. Thank you. I appreciate that. Is No Hand Washing Georgia back? Yeah, Key1 JTV, No Hand Washing Georgia is back. She still didn't look the cleanest to me, but her face was washed. I'll give her that. She's dressed all in black, and she looks pretty good. Very thin, but like I said, she feel like she got body shamed, and she ended up going to inpatient. Is it me, or did Charlie do something to his face since last season? He looked different. Abby, I have to look at him. He doesn't look different to me. He's let his hair grow a little bit, and he is 30 plus. So he could be like doing the Botox and stuff that Kyle and them like to do. We need to see Charlie dad and him in therapy. Keywan J, he had the strangest relationship with his dad. We haven't come across his living situation yet. They allude to the roommate that he used to live with. I think his name was Dylan. Charlie ends up saying Dylan brought his puppy or something to the group and kind of moved out and left him, and we all got to take care of him. I don't like the way they're talking about Shy, like Shy's just an extra. And then Ava was saying, Charlie left the group chat, but we didn't care. Shy started one with me and I think George Washington, but we didn't reply. Y'all, I thought that was kind of rude. So I hope that they're not going to start any mean girl stuff with Shy, because he is a designer as well. He can actually sew. I saw him working on a sewing machine. So Charlie's walking toward wherever he's going with his sunglasses on at night, saying, I don't care what TikTok says about me because I don't have it. So Charlie doesn't have TikTok. I have it, Charlie, but I don't be over there like that either. He said, I'm good with all the noise. I don't let it bother me. And I feel like because Charlie is chilling, that's kind of why I wanted him back. He doesn't mind. He calls Hudson and he says, hey, I saw an Instagram story where you said you guys were breaking up. Hudson says, yeah, Ariana wanted to do that. They did break up. Hudson wants to be temporary. So Hudson is wearing his heart on his sleeve. I think he didn't. He basically said she wanted to break up. He didn't. And then she moved out. So everyone said, this is kind of an unlikely duo. Charlie's telling production, I couldn't disagree more. We're a likely duo. I'm inclined to take Hudson under my wing. He's a sweet, borderline too nice billionaire. Now, Kim Zolciak was warning Hudson last season about Charlie because Kim is a grifter and she recognized a fellow grifter. Now Charlie talking about he gonna take this boy under his wing. So production is even skeptical, but Charlie's saying that they're a duo that matches. And then they've added Shay. So I'll say a trio or a trio, or Shy or Shay. They've added him. So there's also rumors about why they broke up. Ariana's funny in her confessional. She said, well, TMZ dropped a lot of stories. They were saying that Gia is responsible. They were also blaming my mom. So people thought that Kim was going to try to push Ariana on Hudson. On people, I thought that. But I think that she wasn't as instrumental in the breakup of their relationship as she just wasn't. Ariana made her own decision. Otherwise, she would have just stayed with him. Charlie is good for TV. He's a terrible person. That's a good way to put it, Key1J TV. So he's good for our reality TV screen, but I think he is kind of a terrible person. He was a little bit lackadaisical about that whole torture house thing. He was like, I was just standing outside. I don't care what TikTok said. So Charlie, you were there. I'm still mad Charlie walked out and left that $14,000 bill that Riley had to cover. And Candy Burris too. Candy said, I know that ain't my credit card. But yes, it was. Now Riley's going to keep her head on a swivel around a grifter like Charlie. Maybe Hudson will go around picking up the checks because Georgia said that he did that to her boyfriend too. And Omar just wanted to be in the mix. And so that's why he was hanging around. So Charlie's saying, I want Hudson to kind of do the things he want to do, have get up and go. He doesn't have the freaking fire, and I want to help give it to him. Production shows Hudson with like fire behind him. So I don't know what they're trying to do. I hope they don't try to make this duo happen if it's not real. I think Hudson just wants to be kind of close to Charlie to make sure that he doesn't try to go out with Ariana. So all the kids are catching up with each other. Amira's telling us about her cowboy themed country, but she wants to say it like, see you next Tuesday country review. But Bravo's not going to let her do that. Emira, that's not as witty as you think anyway. The Beverly Hills Housewives are saying, see you next Tuesday, every other sentence. So you doing it over here is actually not shocking. It's a little bit silly. We see her beautiful mother, y'all. This lady, I don't know her ethnicity. She appeared to be some type African or Arab. I'm not sure. But she had beautiful brown skin, and that is where Emira gets the olive skin from. So, Emira, your parents are gorgeous. Her dad, I don't know his background. He just looked like a regular white man. But Emira is really pretty, and she's always dressed. This year, she's not doing so much the dynasty thing in her confessionals, but she's still always overdressed. So we have Gia is moving. She said she moved as close to New York as she could. I told y'all Gia listened to the feedback. A lot of people didn't want Gia back. They were like, she still lives at home. She lives in Jersey, but it looks like she's in Fort Lee because they show like Gia's apartment. And it is literally right across the bridge from New York. So that I think that's Fort Lee, New Jersey. She said, I'm still in New Jersey. So Christian, she says she kind of wanted to move out on her own, even though she's been with Christian for 6 years. Teresa is offering her all these dishes and glassware because y'all, Gia was thinking about taking the spices, and Teresa's like, no, you got to get your own spices because Teresa actually cooks. Teresa's been cooking since season 1, New Jersey. She may not be able to pronounce them. She used to say cumin instead of cumin, but she actually does cook. So Gia, you got to buy your own spices. So let me just read any comments that I have and then pick back up. I want hothead Melania Judas to join. Yeah, now that's another one. Cece, thank you for bringing her up. If we can have Brielle over here, we can have Melania. Melania will put hands and feet on somebody if she needs to. Gia has a hothead, but Gia actually knows how to kind of tamp it down a little bit. I don't know if Melania really cares enough to tamp it down if she needs to. She's season 1, Teresa, and we watch her be born on TV. That is a great idea. I hope they bring her over here. Teresa was shaking that table. Engaged 19 times. I never knew why she was so upset about Danielle being engaged 16 or 19 times and was in a book. But she wanted to rumble over that. And I remember Juicy Joe cracking up. He had to take her out, shuffle her out of there. But that put their show on the map. It really did. And let me see if there are any more comments, and then we will continue. AB is laughing at CC. AB, you'd like to see Melania too? I would. That is a great idea. Emira is Polish and Eritrean. Okay, I knew that the mom was some type of African. So she's Eritrean. Okay. And then the dad's Polish. Okay. She's stunning. She is really pretty. So they are saying she's Black. Well, having an African dad, an African mom, the dad's Polish. Yeah, if you have a I don't know. Do Africans claim Black like that? I don't even get into the diaspora wars, but sometimes people will say some crazy things surrounding their heritage or ethnicity, just depending on if they want to rock with us that particular time frame or not. So I don't know. She's Eritrean. She's not American Black. She is absolutely half African. AB, I did not know that she was trans until I think I was listening to the Network Specialist. She's another great content creator. Haven't seen her in a little bit, but she does. She was the last thing I saw her working on was Clarissa. But I love the Network Specialist. She mentioned it, and I was like, where? I was looking, you shouldn't try to figure it out, but I didn't know that. I didn't know that at all. I found out last season, but I didn't know, so I didn't mention it. Was Melania arrested? She was bad as a kid. Bad as a kid and as an adult. I think she's 18 or 19 now, Kiwan. Yes, she was. She's putting hands and feet on people. American Born said yes. But was it Louis? Somebody said it might have been Louis. Father is Polish and the mom is African. Yeah, thank you. So they're claiming she's Black. Okay, that's fine. So she's trying to move, and Teresa's trying to give her all these leopard bowls and kind of stuff. Gia's crazy talking about you can keep that cheetah bowl. Well, Gia, don't get upset. You're not taking this lady's spices out of here. So her and Teresa they're helping Gia packed up with whatever she needs. Now, Teresa may not have the best taste, but the stuff's probably good quality. I know she spent good money on it, I'm sure. So she's packing up for her move. And then her and Ariana, I'm sorry if I keep calling her Adriana. Real Housewives of Miami always pops in my head because I'm annoyed they're paused. We're going to talk about that during the extra, y'all. I think Louis was involved in Melania getting upset. Yeah, AB, and I want to know who called the popo on this girl because Louis, that's a punk move. You don't do that. If not, was Louis them? I'm not mad. Yeah, I don't know. They said it. Louis had something to do with it. I don't know. Is he trying to play daddy over there? Because they got a daddy. And Louis, you better not think just because Juicy Joe can't come in the country right now that you can do something like get Melania arrested. That is trifling. I can't wait until those cameras go back up. I think the Jersey cameras are back up, though. So we find out that there is also tension brewing between Emira and Georgia over this Ozempic comment. Production helpfully flashes back when they were on the Jersey Shore, and those two had bonded something about an eating disorder. And Georgia ended up saying that, oh, the Ozempic kicked in or something like that. I think it was an off the cuff remark. She's already apologized, and she said she didn't mean it like that. She didn't want to do anything to make Emira feel bad. I don't want to say anything too negative about Emira in this comment, but Emira, I don't think you were that upset. I think you try to have some type conflict because you see what it did for Riley and Charlie and Georgia, and now you're trying to jump on the bandwagon and have something going on because Georgia is a trip, but she never really had bad intentions. Now, y'all, later in the season, it looks like Riley and Georgia are going to really get into it. So I'm not sure where that's going. Georgia, you and Ava are both provocateurs, but you try to pretend like you're not doing anything. AB says, I'm annoyed ladies in London got paused. I am too, American born. I don't understand why certain shows, OC, hello, they could get up out of here, but we get things paused like Miami and Ladies in London. I don't like Louis the Loser. Me either, Key1 JTV. And a wedding that big is a red flag to me. Davette never liked Louis. So the consensus is we don't like Louis. And if Melania did put hands and feet on him, so what? Me neither. Everybody agrees. AB, no way. It was good. Yeah, that's what they're saying. And then there's rumors as to why. Margot's name came up. I agree, Miss Sandra. Thank you, Key1J. Margot's name came up. Her and her husband might be suing the company over the edit. Margot, we just didn't like you. You could have been a good villain, but they said she went a little too far. And allegedly, everybody, excuse me for dropping this in. This is going to be an extra. Allegedly, some of the homophobic stuff she was saying went a lot deeper and a lot worse. Because I remember when Mark was actually crying, I was like, okay, what he's doing a lot. And then his friends, including Lady Emma, said, never seen Mark respond like that. So, Margot, what were you saying to that man? You're terrible. Got the whole show paused. I'm pissed off. We don't need RHOC and we need Miami back. Yeah, AB, I don't know why they don't listen to the audience about what we like. Margot, you know, the old long back American that's acting like she's going over there to get a job, when in reality, the reality show was her job. She wasn't really doing anything else. I'm not surprised Margot was a problem from the get-go. AB, I saw it too, unfortunately. And the whole house, renting that house and all that, evidently, she's like a Kelly over there, just faking the funk. Oh, y'all talking about Ladies in London. Yes, sorry about the confusion, Key1J. I went off on a tangent because I talked about shows being paused, Ladies in London, and should not be. They brought back the McBees. David, I can't get into the Country Cowboys. I cannot. I know AB says she couldn't either. Do you like the McBees? A McBee dynasty. So next we have Amira's also going to be confronted by Georgia. Georgia says, well, while she's talking about what I said with Ozempic, I'm hearing that she's upset that I was trying to push up on George, and I don't want her boyfriend. I agree with Georgia. Would that even make sense? What would the boyfriend is the boyfriend a gay man? But Georgia says she don't want that man. Georgia was actually dating Omar at the time and brought him to the event. So I thought that was crazy. So we'll get to the party. Again, we met Amira's mom, her dad. They were in the cowboy theme. I thought that was cute. The new trio decided to pregame. Ariana was telling all the girls that, I don't know why Hudson's hanging out with Charlie. Charlie tried to push up on her. Everybody thought that was a little strange, but she was saying, don't take Hudson out the group chat. We are still friendly. And Shy, for some reason, was convinced to put on a horse costume. Shy, don't let these kids make a fool out of you because they're already talking about him kind of like he doesn't belong. And I don't want that for Shy. I actually like him. I think he's really genuine. And I think the show could use regular working people, working kids making their way in New York. Because Ariana, not everybody going to have a fashion line and be an influencer. I think that's kind of the oddity and not like your real life. Now, I don't look on them for luxury and all of that, kind of like we do to the housewives, even though they're not giving that. Amira's a twin. Dear Yvette, I'd love to see her twin. Is the twin a boy or a girl? That is so interesting. I'd love to see her twin. I bet they're great looking. Because the mom and dad, that mix is gorgeous. Amira's beautiful. So She pulls Georgia aside there at the party. Georgia's like, I'm leaving in 5 minutes. Don't get scared now, George Washington. But honestly, I would have said, let's just have a coffee date. It's your birthday. But this is why I think Emira is just trying to start something. And the group's like, ooh, they're ready for her to get into it. And then also Ava and Gia were trying to have a couple of words. Ava was kind of stirring the pot as Georgia was being walked away by Emira, where they're going to have a few little words. She's saying, you got this. Why are you telling her that, Ava? They're not going over there to do anything. Oh, boy twin. Okay. So they are, oh, they could be identical. They could be identical or fraternal. Wow, this is interesting. Oh, wow, AB says, yeah, isn't that interesting? They could be identical or fraternal. I want to see what he looks like. I chuckle when you call her George Washington, strictly because of her hygiene. And then also she has like a founding father face. But Cece, when I saw Georgia in a scene she had, like walking across the street, all in black, and her angles and everything, she's an unusual person. She could actually model too. Keywan says, it sounds like Ava going to be messy this season. Yeah, I think Rachel Roy told her to step her game up because, you know, she comes from a messy lineage, Damon Dash and Rachel Roy, and nobody's paying any bills over there. So, Ava, if you want to keep the job, you got to do something. So, Amara's trying to have words with Georgia, and Georgia's like, I don't want your boyfriend. And then Georgia got a little insulting. She said, I would never. She said like 15 nevers. And anytime somebody expresses to you that they don't want your person with that many nevers, it's like they either think they ugly or that you have bad taste. So Amara realizes I probably shouldn't have pulled her aside because George Washington is a shade assassin. You remember she got up in Charlie's face and they went back and forth. So I found that kind of funny. So now Amara's telling us this wasn't even a party. This was kind of like a business event. That's what you get, Amara, trying to be cute at your birthday party. You should invite the girl out to lunch. And now Ava decides that she's going to pick on Gia. She said, you knew I wouldn't be fine with the fact, and she's wearing this little 10-gallon hat, y'all, for the country thing. You knew I wouldn't be okay with the fact that you were talking about my character on a podcast. And Gia's like, okay, well, you were talking about my mom. And all the boys, Brooks, they're looking around like, ooh, they're getting ready to get into it. And then Ava's talking calmly, but Gia's like, okay, you trying to make me go off or get out of character. And Ava's like, I don't have to make you do anything. You can do that on your own. So I said, oh, now we got all these little different feuds going. The boys are not really into anything. Charlie has all the same feuds he had last year. But of course, Raleigh's not in this episode. George Washington is paying him dust. She let us know she's mad at Charlie. Charlie owes her an apology. And Charlie says he don't care. So y'all, this was kind of it was a mid episode, but it had so many different things going on. I actually liked it. I gave it a 7. So I'm going to go through and read the comments. I'll see if there's anything else. Let's see. She was saying, I wasn't flirting with your boyfriend. Amira, what she said was, well, George was saying that you were touchy-feely with him. And that's what she was saying. I would never, what's his name, Kevin? I was never touchy-feely. And she said, I heard it through the gay grapevine. And I'm like, Georgia, what is the gay grapevine? She is a trip. So production gives this girl a confessional, and she starts giving us a rundown of the gay grapevine. She says it's a network of queer people, not just domestically, but internationally. Georgia does a lot, and that's why people get on her on Reddit and in these YouTube streets. George Washington, you are too much. But she had me laughing. And Amira, you didn't get what you wanted to out of her. I think Amira thought, it's my party, and I'm going to pull her aside, and I'm going to do this and that and have a moment. And George Washington kind of made her look a little bit like a fool. So I have to, if I'm giving away rounds, I have to give that one to Georgia. I thought that was really funny. And let me go through and just see what other comments we have. When you say founding father face, do you mean a strong face? Yes, Keywan J, with the angles and the cheekbones. You see when they do George Washington, when they have the, I don't know if he was crossing the Potomac or what, but he had his hat on and he was looking stoic like, that's how Georgia looks. But I don't think Georgia's ugly. I think Georgia's nice looking enough, but she just has one of those square faces. 4 likes and 5 and alive. Thank you, everybody that has liked the video already. If you have not, whomever that one person is, please like it on the way out. And I love that. If you comment, you subscribe, that keeps the channel in the algorithm. Thank you. And American Born is laughing at Kiwan JTV. Yes, the founding father face. You gave it a 7 as well. Yeah, I think it was pretty good. Now the season's going to be pretty good. They're going to have a lot going on this season. So the different feuds, the 2 moves. We got Ariana that has moved. Gia has moved. I get it. I'm cracking up. Yeah, when you look at her, when they show her, she looked good so far. I mean, we're episode 1. She looks pretty good. David gave it a 7 as well. Okay. Now, Charlie says that he feels like Georgia is poor, but Charlie, you poor too. You latch on to these rich boys. And again, that kind of little bit of argument that Emira had with Georgia was kind of hilarious. She said, it would not cross my mind in a million years to even try to flirt with your boyfriend. And Amira's looking like, what's wrong with Kevin? Emira, now I think you too fly for Kevin because even George Washington don't want him. She told her that right in her face, and I thought that was funny. Next Gen is better than the Housewives. I'd have to agree with that, Kiwan J. Next Gen keeps something going. Because I think the younger people, they're not so aware of cameras and how they should act, except Emira. I think Emira is camera aware, and also Ava. Ava knows she needs to step it up, and now she's trying to do something. And except Rhode Island. I'll exclude Rhode Island from trying to be ready for TV or trying to make a moment. Mama 59 works. Thank you for dropping in and saying hello. Hello, I made it. I'm liking, commenting, and sharing. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. That is my actually real life sister and one of the moderators. So thank you for coming in. I appreciate that. And American Born says, hey, Mom 59 works. Charlie should be on In the City. Kiwan JTV, I could actually see that. I could see that. Now, Charlie would wrap Kenny and them up. Gavin would get a kick out of Charlie. Maybe we'll do a crossover. I would love to see that. Liam, I forgot to mention Liam at all, y'all. Liam had a scene. He's the new kid. He's into hockey. I mentioned him earlier. He's one of the new castmates. Rowan is Brooke Shields' daughter. I don't remember if I saw her at all. Liam he's friends amongst the different groups. I liked Liam. Liam's nice looking. He's also an actor. He named, production did a whole list of things that he says he does. So I really like that. And then he is going to flirt with Ariana. And I thought it was funny that Hudson said, I just want to put down some ground rules. Even though we're broken up, I just want to say that she's kind of off the market. Hudson, that's not how that works. That's not how that works at all. And I think that's going to be a little tension. Thank you for my super chat, $1.99 super chat. Thank you so much. I miss you guys. No, you can be team replay, and then you can also let me hold one of them hypes. Thank you. So I thought Liam was really cute. I think he's going to be a good addition. I'm looking forward to it. And I think there'll be a little tension between him and Ariana because he's really cute. He's too old for the next generation crew. Yeah, Kiwan J, if Emira, who's among one of the oldest, she's 29. Charlie was 30 last season. So you might be right. I think he is a little bit too old. But then again, Kiwan JTV, I always factor in where a person is in their life. He honestly has less going for him. And the dad has allowed him to lay back and not do a lot. Remember, he was, I think, splitting that rent with Dalton. Dalton's moved out of New York. So now he's probably back on daddy's dime. He's living like a 23-year-old, even though he's probably closer to 33. Too much of a fraud. Yeah, over there at the fraud house talking about, well, I was just outside. A little bit, they didn't meet me, I was there. Shout out to Charles Oakley. But yeah, you was there. Emira's 29? Yeah, they did one of those little chirons that says Emira, 29. I said, oh, you up there with Charlie. But I bet she don't want to mention that. So this crew skews younger. Georgia and them are right in the middle. They're 25. And then the babies, Ariana and Riley, are 23. I don't know about Brooke Shields Rowan. She reads older, but she's actually really young. She's probably 23 too. So this is going to be a good season, everybody. A really good season. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, crypto scammers, American Born. And then the guy that really got in trouble for it, he kept the guy against his will. So he had a tourist, and that was the other thing. It was an Italian tourist. You can't be doing that kind of stuff. Somebody's visiting. So what you might get away with some kid down the street, that don't fly really if someone's in the country on a tourist visa. So yeah, crypto scammers. But this is I think it's going to be a good season. I'm looking forward to it. Episode 1, a 7, and it kept my attention. I was getting to know everybody. So I thought it was pretty good. And then Ariana brought up that this DUI is from years ago. Ariana, we don't know. And then I thought it was pretty funny. She said Hudson didn't really support me. My dad would support my mom. She'd go to her events and he'd hold her pocketbook. Ariana, some of these men don't want to be a pocketbook holder like Croy. So I'm really looking forward to this. Okay, I got you. We'll do that. Hey, Miss Kiwan, American Born Diva, and Mom 59 Works. Thank you for coming in, speaking to everyone, and giving me a super chat. Thank you. I think so as well. It's going to be a good season. Yes, I'm looking forward to it. And we'll see what else I can pick up. I'm not sure what else. I'm waiting for episode 2 of the Real Housewives of Rhode Island's reunion because part 1 was excellent. I loved it. I want to know when Mrs. Cece rated this episode. Yeah, Cece, what did you end up giving them? Did you get a chance to watch it yet? It's got a couple of, a trio of 7s from Dear Yvette, myself, and also American Born. So if Cece is still in here and can give us, and American Born's laughing because she knows that Cece sometimes might try to get them to give a little bit of harder work, so she might downgrade them a little bit. But yeah, I'm giving them credit for holding my attention, coming in, reintroducing themselves to everybody, and then we get Liam, also Rowan. Riley, I need to downgrade Riley because Riley, you've got to come to work. You can't pull a ruler. That was a little bit too much. Sandra, do you review scripted TV? I do not. Key1J TV. That's something I possibly could branch out into. But honestly, I find myself getting a little bit overwhelmed sometimes with just the reality TV. And then I'm trying to pull in more of my political discourse because that is a real interest of mine. But thank you. Thanks for asking. Yes, you're speaking to CC too. I know you meant to put everyone in Mama 59 Works. I appreciate when you come in, when everyone comes in, the way we greet each other and all of that. CC, let us know down in the comments because we are at a good ending place for the live. And Davette speaking. Thank all of you for joining me. Oh, thank you so much. Key1J says, oh my God, you'll be great. Thank you so much. I appreciate the encouragement. And again, if you don't already know, I think everyone in here does. Key1J TV is one of my fellow content creators, and she does reality in addition to scripted TV, including, as they alluded to, Love After Lockup. Yeah, I don't watch that show, but I do listen to reviews, and there are some crazy people. Great review, Sandra. Thank you. Y'all, my sister saw and recognized one of the Love After Locked Up girls. She said the girl had twins or something when we cruised from Galveston. I have to find out who that actually was because I was like, what? She said, yeah, that's so-and-so. But she watches the show and I don't. But thank you. Thanks for a compliment on the review. And thank you for watching and just going along with me. This was Next Gen NYC Season 2, Episode 1. And we were mainly ended at Emira's party, which was just meh. Emira, you didn't do that great. Yeah, I'll tell you who it is. I'm going to ask her and then I will DM it or put it on the comments. Yes, please go watch Key1J TV. Her review on Rhode Island was so good. Yes, and we had great material to work with. Rhode Island, Season 1 is a 10 of 10, and I'm looking forward to part 2 and 3. Did we say 2? Just a 2-part. Looking forward to the rest of the reunion. But those of you for joining me, thank you. Team Replay, thank you. Also, hype the video. And as always, I will see you in the YouTube streets. Bye, everybody.
I don't think that he's good for you. How do you know what's good for me? That's my opinion! Don't you get it? Why can't anybody have an opinion but you? That I don't think that he's good. That I don't.